over to Richard Burnett, the Chief Executive of the Road Haulage Association, which represents Britain's 600,000 HGV drivers.
48% of the food that we consume in the UK comes from around the world. 29% of that comes from Europe. You know, we're beginning to see impacts on the supply chain of product from the European countries, you know, so Italy, for instance, plum tomatoes, pasta, those sorts of things, you know, are all slowing because of, I guess, the gridlock to a degree passing borders, you know, through Europe. And we're seeing that impact as well. This is unprecedented, Dan. You know, I don't think we've ever seen anything of this scale ever. We're having to deal with something that's unfolding. We're having to deal with it as it unfolds in front of us. You know, we're managing to get product through at the moment, but you know, the feedback I'm getting from distribution businesses is we're seeing probably a 50% downturn in terms of what's coming out of Europe at the moment.
Richard, much of the problem is being caused by panic buying and stockpiling. How big a problem has that caused?
What we're seeing is probably a tenfold increase in terms of what people are buying because they're panicking and they're buying stock forward. And the immediacy of that is like Christmas, but without any planning. And there's only so much stuff that you can actually push through those distribution centres at any one point in time to kind of keep all of that going. And, you know, when you think about it, Dan, when you're a driver that's sitting in a vehicle that's sitting in a queue and you don't know whether or not, you know, you've got the virus or not, your own health, your own mortality goes through your minds as well. The average age of a truck driver in the UK is 56. Less than 2% are under 25. So, you know, we've got some real challenges. And if you look at milk collections, for instance, that's an even older age demographic. We've got, you know, milk tanker drivers between the ages of 60 and 70. They are doing an incredible job at the moment, keeping the flow of food and product to keep us all fed at this incredibly difficult time.
And what do you have to say about the drivers who've been prepared to go into the red zones to pick up food and bring it back to the UK?
Well, they're just, you know, these are incredible people. I think they're the unsung heroes. It's taken for granted, Dan, an awful lot. People just expect stuff to happen. They expect things to just be there. And, you know, we are an industry that's been taken for granted for a long time. These guys and girls are doing an incredible job.
But I understand some of them have faced abuse when they've returned to the UK?
When we have had vehicles that have brought stuff into the UK from Spain and from Italy, they've been rejected because people don't want to be infected or potentially be infected by the driver that's turned up with the product.
And that must put the driver in an awful situation to have made that epic journey all the way from Spain and Italy. And then you're saying that there are places that they're dropping off that are turning them away.
Correct. The problem is, you know, I guess how people are reacting in a pandemic. I think we have to try and deal with these things calmly and collectively and think through it. But not everybody's seeing it in those terms at this stage.
This is a wake-up call.
Look, without a shadow of a doubt, it's got to be a wake-up call. As an industry, we have been screwed down by the retailers and manufacturers trying to drive greater productivity for years and years. And we've been kind of almost become the kicking boys and girls. I can't even imagine just the strain and pressure that those guys and girls are under at this stage.
Richard Burnett of the Road Haulage Association.